What's poppin', y'all? The thing I've loved about this Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef is you get to see what numbers people choose to pay attention to, or in today's case, manipulate, depending on what side that they fall on. For instance, Akademiks recently went on a clip, and people, if you just take a look at the raw, obvious stat, Kendrick Lamar has more monthly listeners currently than Drake, by quite a significant margin. For example, right now, Drake, as of the time that I'm recording this, he has 80.4 million monthly listeners, and Kendrick Lamar has 87.3 monthly listeners. So about 7 million more monthly listeners, and this is coming at the same time that Drake also has a hit song, Nokia, that's topping the charts alongside Kendrick Lamar. It's not like Drake hasn't released anything or he's being suppressed, but that stat doesn't really tell the whole story. So Akademiks, he gets a stat or a series of stats for the daily streams of an artist, and Drake is number one, and he has this to say.
The lead that Drake has over the number two person is more than anybody on this list. He's leading number two by 17 million streams. At the bottom of this list is X with 10 million streams. Let's see who has 17. We would have to go to Playboy Cardi. So his lead of number two is greater than Tyler, the Creator, whole career. Or not career, but current output. They shout your failures, but they whisper your accomplishments. They shout your failures, they whisper your accomplishments. Chat, you know they do that. They did that to me. Twitch banned him. He's over. When I had 35,000 people watching me for the Diddy nobody said, oh, this is the big. By the way, we got more than Law and Crime, CNN, everybody. We're the biggest channel covering this entire Diddy trial. Not one of them said, damn, we thought we got him, but he's still. Nope. They scream your failures. They whisper your accomplishments.
Sidebar, one of the things I like is when people get a sentence or a phrase and they try to repeat it again and again to give it a little bit more emphasis. I'm not being sarcastic whatsoever when I say that. I do enjoy that. However, what he's saying is something that we're all guilty of, including himself. People want to hear more about somebody being down bad or down and out than somebody actually winning. So this post gets reposted to Akademiks TV, which is a page run by Akademiks' right-hand man, you could call it, at least social media-wise. And he says, Akademiks reacts to Drake being the most streamed rapper on Spotify with 48.2 million daily streams, while Kendrick Lamar is second place with only 31.4 million, a difference of 17 million. Oh, wow, we got that. I appreciate him putting the math there, though, because there are some, I won't say some of you, because I have a higher regard for people that have stuck with me for quite a while and have watched me. You can't be that dumb to not see 17 million. No way. And watch me. Big Ak also wonders why the hip-hop media pundits are so silent. They shout his failures and whisper his accomplishments. Ain't this supposed to be the K-Dot era? The thing is, Kendrick Lamar right now is on a stadium tour, but I decided to do some digging on this because, number one, if someone has significantly more output, significantly more songs, overall, they're going to release more. Anybody that's an independent artist knows that if you have a big catalog, your streams go up overall. And this is similar to how the algorithm works too. Like, for example, same thing happens on YouTube, anything where the systems work relatively similar. So, for instance, let's say Drake has, 700 songs. I'm just throwing a random number out there, but Kendrick only has 150 songs. But Kendrick is getting streamed however much that they said in that clip, which is 31.4 million. But Drake is getting streamed 48 million. What is really more impressive if you can do it with less, especially if you've had a long-spanning career? Now, the reason why we can't just say that this works all the time, because what if someone just has a current hit song right now and they're getting 50 million streams a day? Is that person bigger than Drake that has a catalog? No, I wouldn't say so. So I do a little bit of digging on the numbers, and I pull it up. Drake has released 507 songs on streaming platforms. Kendrick Lamar has released 246 songs on streaming platforms. And what I mean by songs is you've got the songs as the artist as a lead, you've got songs with the artist as a feature, and you've got solo songs of the artist. So anything that the artist has appeared on, because all of these contribute to the daily streams. And I pulled all of this, and so Drake, he has 48.2 daily streams. As of that, it's maybe like 49 million. It's negligible now. It's a negligible difference. since whenever this dropped, the next day or so. Kendrick has 31.4 million daily streams, but we need to proportion it out because Kendrick has less than half of the songs released than Drake does. So Drake's daily average streams per song, because this is the best way we can really spread it across, is 95,068. Kendrick's daily average streams per song is 127,642. So each song of Kendrick Lamar, on average, right, this isn't the mean or anything like that, it packs a stronger punch. So he's outperforming Drake by 34.26% daily. And this is the thing. They're not going to use this number. And this is also the issue. Akademiks knows numbers. So the reason why he is not positioning it in the way that I'm positioning it is because it doesn't serve him to, or he doesn't even want to, position Kendrick Lamar in a winning light versus Drake, even when it comes down to numbers. And some people are really not understanding the way that this works because they're trying to critique it. The problem is there are a lot of different variables that we can use to make this more fair. Listen, I'm not a statistician. I've got logic and reason. That's all I've got. And I'm not pretending to be a statistician. What I'm saying and what I was trying to demonstrate with that tweet is how you can manipulate numbers and not necessarily lie, but paint a different picture. So if you take monthly listeners, that paints one picture. Oh, Kendrick's more poppin'. However, if you take daily streams, oh, okay, Drake's more poppin', and that's what the Drake side says. However, if you just try to take those daily streams and then you spread it proportionally, so what would this rapper have if they had the same amount of songs, then you get the number I got, which is in Kendrick Lamar's favor again. And there's an endless game that we can do with this because let's attack what I'm giving here because I don't have a dog in this race. I personally don't care. I just enjoy the game of it as a whole, and I enjoy seeing who has a certain allegiance to which side. So let's break apart what I said. We could say, well, a better way to judge them, especially with the beef, is to see, because the whole argument that Akademiks was making too is, and the people that hate on Drake is, well, Drake after the beef really got screwed over. And he's actually demonstrating, since he's the number one most streamed, that he's recovered. However, the majority of Drake's songs and streams are coming from old music. Let me just pull it up. And yeah, I'm gatekeeping the site. It is what it is. We need to go back to gatekeeping. I'm sending it out to some people, but the people that got it will get it. So if we look at Drake's top songs that are getting daily streams, we've got Nokia, number one, 2.2 million. That's a current hit. It makes sense. We've got One Dance, old song. We've got Love Me, old song. Passion Fruit, She Will, Die Trying, God's Plan, Wait For You, Headlines, Hold On, We're Going Home. We've got one song in the past year, which is his hit song. However, if we go to Kendrick Lamar and we look at the daily streams, in his top 10 daily streams, we've got Luther with SZA, recent song. All the Stars with SZA. Not Like Us, recent song. TV Off, recent song. Money Trees, old song. Humble, Love, Squabble Up, recent song. Like That, recent song. So if we are to look at the numbers, clearly Kendrick Lamar on daily streams is far outperforming Drake with songs that were released in the past year. And this is also how someone else can attack this argument by saying, well, the reason why Kendrick Lamar is getting all of these numbers is because he went at Drake and the favorability of Kendrick winning the beef against the biggest rapper in the game garnered him all of this attention that he correctly capitalized on. So Drake did quote-unquote assist in this result. And I'm not willing to disagree with that. I'm only willing to disagree with it in the sense that someone is attempting to discredit Kendrick Lamar's accomplishment because Meek Mill didn't have these results. Pusha T did not have these results. Anybody else that Drake went back and forth with didn't have these results. So what's the one common denominator in all of these beefs? Drake, yet only one of those rappers was able to get the results and these massive spike in numbers, which is Kendrick Lamar. So we can't say it's because of Drake. Otherwise, those other two people, well, Meek Mill got washed. Otherwise, Pusha T would have had that. Can we agree on that? Okay, great. And to knock off everything that we've talked about so far in this video, this doesn't really calculate the global impact. So a lot of this is Spotify data, YouTube data. I don't know if they're able to pull from Apple Music's API, but we're only covering regions that use Spotify. Now, you've got billions of people let's say in China, right? They're not using Spotify in China like that. And you can't really measure who's more popular there. So that's what makes things like this difficult when we're talking about stats and numbers, because there's a lot of nuances and a lot of, well, you have to take into consideration that when we're talking about this person has more numbers, it's on this platform that's most used in these regions of the world, and these other regions, they don't even use it at all. And we have to take that into consideration. That just doesn't make for a good headline. It definitely doesn't make for good propaganda for whoever you're trying to portray as the person that won in this beef. But even then, I think Drake is doing fine. Most of the songs that are streaming right now, other than Nokia, all of the songs that are streaming right now, other than Nokia, are because of his old catalog. So you can't really do anything there. So even if we were to break it down even further and say, okay, only the songs released since the beef, who wins? Kendrick Lamar. And then some people will say, well, let's wait for Drake's new album, Iceman, or whatever it's called, to come out. And it's a never-ending game. So a lot of these numbers, a lot of these stats, I wouldn't say it's necessarily manipulated. It's just cherry-picked to serve whatever agenda the person has to show you. And I really don't have an agenda other than to have fun with this. As you can see, I broke apart my own post, which isn't wrong. Nothing I said there was wrong. And also, for example, people make some guesses. Well, if Kendrick Lamar had more songs, then his streams per song would decrease. Well, we don't know that. That's the thing. We have to deal with what we know to be true. If Kendrick Lamar released more songs, if Kendrick Lamar had writers like Drake had, who knows how many hits he would have had. Are we going to pull that rabbit out of the hat as well, or are we going to just ignore that? Because that's an element that helps Drake a lot as well. He's able to collaborate with certain artists that really, really give him an alley-oop and an assist. So I think Kendrick Lamar, no matter what way you dice it, he came out benefiting more from this beef. Whether he won, obviously, but you just look at the numbers and you're like, wow, this guy really, really benefited from everything that's happened. He's also on a tour, but Drake was just recently on a tour as well in Australia, and they're using Spotify in Australia. So you can't say, okay, well, he got the boost of being on a tour, so people are listening to the songs more. That doesn't really add up. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see you on the next one. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com. Thank you for watching. Peace.